Hi, my name is Kathy Martin, and I'm the creator of PreAlgebraTeachers.com. Thank you so much for joining me in the 5 Days to Integer Success experience. Today, we are talking all about adding integers. If you're ready to get started, then keep on watching. So the easiest and most effective way that I have seen my students be able to retain the concept of adding negative numbers is by using counting chips. Now, you can go to the hardware store and pick these up. I've seen them where you can just buy them and cut them up, but I don't have time for that. So what I did was a little bit of a ghettoer version, and I just took red construction paper, put a bunch of minus signs on it, green construction paper, and put a bunch of plus signs on it. You can do this with whatever color you want. You can go to the hardware store. You can find different colored poker chips if you want, but this was the easiest, most effective way for me to do this at the time. So, everyone has construction paper, and we all have markers or pens that we can use to do this. So you don't need any fancy equipment. So when I'm first starting to teach adding negatives, I will just put up simple numbers. Like, we'll start off really simple, like -4 plus 1. So I will use my chips as a visual. So because there's -4, I will put up 4 negatives, and then I will put up a positive. And I will talk with my students about, how negative and positives cancel each other out, and they equal a 0. So these have a match, and they will go away. So how much do you have left? Well, I have 3 negatives left. Okay, great. So we will continue to do more examples. So let's try another one. Let's do 5 plus -2. Okay, so I have 5 pluses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my 5 pluses. And I have 2 negatives. Okay, well, these have a match. These have a match. And what am I left with? Okay, 3 positives. Great. I will continue to do a ton of these examples with my students so they can start to see, and they can start to see using the positive and negative chips, creating a visual for them. 2 plus -1. Okay, great. 2 plus -1. These have a match. What do I have left? All right, I have 1 positive. All right, and then I'll throw in adding some negatives. So let's try -2 plus -1. All right, so I'll put up 2 negatives and then 1 negative. There's no matches here, so what do I have left? Oh, okay, so it appears as though I have -3. And again, I will keep on doing lots and lots of examples for my students. Once I've done about 10 to 15, I will start the conversation of, what do you notice? So in an example like this, -5 plus 2, I'll put up my 5 negatives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I will put up 2 positives. So I will talk to my students about what they start to notice when these go away and these go away. So I'm left with a -3. Okay, so I might initiate the conversation to my students. How do you go from 5, and a 2, and then we get 3? Well, you might start to notice that you can subtract them. And then by this point, we've already talked about absolute values. So I might bring that up here. Like, okay, well, 5 minus 2 is 3, but where did the negative come from? So I might talk about how if I take the absolute value of 5 and I take the absolute value of 2, 5 is bigger. So I'm going to start to take the sign of the bigger absolute value. That's an interesting thing to notice. So we might do another one. Like -6 plus 1. Okay, so I might put up 6 negatives here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have a positive. Okay, does that particular thing that I just noticed, work? Okay, I can subtract. And if I take the sign of the bigger absolute value, that's a 6. And it's a negative. So these have a match. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it does work. And I will continue to do more of those type of problems. So again, 2 plus negative 3. Okay, so there's 2. There's negative 3. All right, so I know that if I subtract these, I'm going to get a 1, and then the bigger absolute value is 3, and it's negative. So is my answer negative 1? Well, these have a match, these have a match. Yes, it is negative 1. And again, I will do lots and lots of examples, but since our time is limited, I will then move on to what happens when you are adding integers with the same sign. So there's my negative 1 and there's my negative 2. Nothing is canceling out here. So I might start to notice that I have 3 negatives. How do we get that? Okay, let's try another one. Negative 2 plus negative 3. So there's negative 2. Here's negative 3. I might start to notice that 2 plus 3 is 5, and then I'm going to keep the negative sign. And we will continue to do more examples like this. So there's your negative 1, there's 5, and again, there's no positives and negatives to combine. So again, I'm going to add and keep this negative sign. We will get to a point where my students really start to notice these simple rules, and I will officially bring out the rules, which go a little bit like this. There are 2 rules for adding integers, and it's a little rhyme. So it goes add and keep, same sign, add and keep the negative, different sign, subtract, and take the sign of the bigger value, and your answer will be exact. So I give you a little example here. If you have the same sign, negative 3 plus negative 5 equals negative 8. It is this, you use the same sign rule, add and keep the negative. Different signs, you subtract. 5 plus negative 3, well, 5 take away 3 is 2. Take the sign of the bigger absolute value, which is positive, so your answer is going to be positive. And my students really resonate with this rhyme. Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Take the sign of the bigger value, and your answer will be exact. If you are watching this video and wondering, man, I could really use some chips right now, I've created for you your own negative chips page and a positive chips page. And also, as an extra bonus today, I'm throwing in a super fun just review worksheet. So it's hard to see on the camera here, but it says using a strategy like chips or drawing your own positive negatives, solve the following questions. So sometimes my students don't have their own chips, and so I just have them draw negatives and positives and cancel them out and then show what is left, as you can see in the example here. So in order to access this free adding integers practice page, your positive number chips, your negative number chips, and your adding negative numbers poster, all you have to do is go to prealgebrateachers.com/5days. Again, that's prealgebrateachers.com/5days. Thank you so much again for joining me today as we talked all about adding integers. I can't wait for you to use these tips and strategies in your classroom so that your students can build their confidence and have some fun. In order to access all of the resources that I showed you in my video today, please go to www.prealgebrateachers.com/5days. That's the number 5 and the word days. Again, it's prealgebrateachers.com/5days. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comment box below. I can't wait to see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye! Hi, my name is Kathy Martin. Thank you so much for joining me in our 5 Days to Integer Success experience. Today we are talking all about subtracting integers. If you want to see how I teach this skill in my own classroom, then keep on watching. Today is all about subtracting integers. And actually, the big secret and what I tell my students when we are subtracting integers is you are never subtracting. So you are never subtracting. And when I tell my students this, they're like, what? Crazy. Actually, I tell them the magic, the secret sauce in subtracting integers is 3 letters. K-A-O. And it stands for keep, add, opposite. Because I tell my students, you're never subtracting, you are always adding the opposite. So what the heck does this mean? Well, so in our first example, I'm just gonna throw in some numbers here. We have 2 minus -1. Okay, so again, we are never subtracting. We're gonna keep this front number, so 2 is gonna stay the same. Our subtract is gonna change to an add, and then our -1 is going to change to the opposite, which is +1. So now our question becomes 2 plus 1, which is 3. Crazy. Okay, another example. If I have -7 minus 3, all right, well, I'm gonna keep the -7. My subtraction sign is going to change to a plus sign, and my 3 is going to change to the opposite, which is -3. And then now, since your students are experts at adding negative numbers from yesterday, now I'm gonna ask my students, okay guys, is this the same sign rule or different? Are they same sign or different? Well, they're same sign. So what's the rule? Add and keep. So we're gonna add them up. 7 plus 3 is 10, and keep the negative sign. And we will continue to do so many more examples. Let's see, if I have -8 minus -3. Okay, so my -8 is going to, I'm gonna keep it. My subtraction sign is going to change to an add, and my -3 is gonna change to an opposite, which is +3. So now, again, what are my signs? Are they same sign or different? Different, what's the rule? Different signs subtract, so I have a 5, and take the sign of the greater absolute value, which is 8. 8 is negative, so my answer is -5. And we are just gonna keep on going. I will do probably 10 to 15 examples with my students until they can tell me, keep, add, opposite, keep, add, opposite. And it really, really seems to help. We could even do a little bit of a bigger number, 35 minus -15. Okay, we are never subtracting, so we're gonna keep that 35. We're gonna change our subtraction to an add. And what's the opposite of -15? +15. Oh, look, so now we just have a simple 35 plus 15. And my answer is going to be 50. So I've created for you today an awesome how to subtract integers poster that's much prettier than my ugly board right here. But I have this hung up in my classroom for my students so that they can remember KAO, keep, add, opposite. Keep the first integer, change your subtraction to an addition, and change your second integer to the opposite. And I've given you 2 examples down here so they can follow along. Another wonderful freebie that you will also have access to today is an amazing subtracting integers coloring page. So there's 13 questions for your students to answer. They will figure out the correct answer and then color in this fun coloring page. My students love to color. It's relaxing and they're learning at the same time. So in order to access both of your awesome freebies, all you have to do is go to prealgebrateachers.com/5days. Thank you so much for joining me today while we talked all about subtracting integers. Remember, I always tell my students that we're never subtracting. We are simply adding the opposite. I can't wait to see how you use the poster and the awesome coloring page that you'll be able to access today. Post some photos so that we can see how it goes in your classroom. I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye!
Hi, my name is Kathy Martin, and I'm the creator of PreAlgebraTeachers.com. I am so excited that you're here joining me in the 5 Days to Integer Success Experience. We've talked about adding integers, we've talked about subtracting integers, and today we're putting it all together. I've created a super fun activity that my students love to use in my classroom. That's called Spinner Math. It's gonna put together the adding and subtracting concepts in one fun game. If you're ready to learn about it, let's go.
Wow, everyone, we have spent the last several days all about adding and subtracting integers, and today it is all about having some fun with our students. I've created this super fun Spinner Math activity that's all about adding and subtracting integers that's gonna put everything together in a fun game. It's called Spinner Math, and all you're gonna need is this sheet, a pencil or writing utensil, and a paper clip. I like to do this in partners with my students if I feel like I have a class that can do partners, or this just makes a fun, independent practice time for your students. So all you're gonna do is give each of your students a paper clip, have them put their pencil in the center of the dot, and they can flick the paper clip so that it spins. So they're gonna flick it, and look, it landed on this problem right here, which is -12 plus -8. So that's gonna be their first question. So they're gonna put that in the box, -12 plus -8, and then go ahead and solve it. Well, this is using the same sign rule, so I know that this is going to be add and keep. 12 plus 8 is 20, and I'm going to keep it. So bam. I wrote a little big there, but that's okay. And then you're gonna do it again. Flick the paper clip. Oh, boom, landed right there. So my second question is going to be -15 plus 7. This is going to utilize the different sign rule, which is subtract. 15 take away 7 is 8. So different signs, subtract, and then take the sign of the bigger absolute value. So this will be -8. And you will have your students go through and continue to play. If they land on the same space, if they land on a space that they've already solved, then spin again. So, and they're just gonna keep on going, answering questions. And there's also a really nice reflection piece, because I think it's nice for students to actually think about, what they're doing and put a little bit of thought into it. And it allows students to add some writing into their math as well. So this reflection piece asks, explain the two rules for adding integers and the rule for subtracting integers. So it gives them some time to think about it instead of just kind of robotically going through. I can't wait for you to give this activity to your students and have them have so much fun.
And that's our Spinner Math activity. In order to access your free Spinner Math activity to use in your classroom tomorrow, head on over to prealgebrateachers.com/5days. Again, that website is prealgebrateachers.com/5days. Feel free to post photos of your students utilizing this activity and having fun. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye.
Hi guys, my name is Kathy Martin, and I'm the creator of PreAlgebraTeachers.com, and I have been your fearless leader in the pre-algebra integers experience. I cannot believe that we are already on day 4 of our experience. I just wanted to jump on Facebook Live. I wanted to just share some thoughts with you. And if you hang with me until the very end, there might be an unexpected freebie that I wanted to throw in today. So it's Thursday. It's been a crazy week for me at school, and I am so glad that I got to be a part of this challenge and lead you guys and help you guys help your students build their integer skills. And I really hope that I've been able to provide you with some great value, with some great activities, and some great teaching strategies for you to share with your students. I have gotten some great feedback, and I know that many of you have experienced some really great success with your students. I wanted to create this experience for teachers because
as a teacher, I really, really, really value and I really enjoy helping other teachers. I've been doing this for 10 years and it's just been, we go through ups and downs. We go through times in the calendar year of teaching when you just want to give up and you're just done and you just wonder why you got into this profession, and then you have moments when the kids finally they have their aha moment. Something finally just clicks and you're like, boom, that's why I'm doing this job. So I just wanted to share with you that if you have found value in these last 4 days, after I teach adding, subtracting integers, the next step is multiplication and dividing integers. So if you're feeling a little stressed, if you're feeling a little bit, unsure of where to go, I just want to invite you to join the prealgebrateachers.com community. I created this community because I was a teacher who was lost. I was a teacher who was spending hours and hours scouring Google, scouring the internet for lesson plans, for activities, for things to do with my students, because when I first started, I was given a classroom key to my classroom and was literally told, good luck. The principal did one of these, good luck, and was on her way. So I had zero support, I had zero materials, and I had a classroom full of students and I had no idea what to do with them. I had no idea, how to teach them math because I had nothing. So in the last 10 years of my career, I have been spending hours of my evenings. I have spent hours on the weekends. I have given up time with my friends, with my family, because I had to lesson plan, because I had to prepare. And if this sounds like you're not alone. And so I created the prealgebrateachers.com community so that you and I don't have to spend our weekends planning, don't have to spend after school time away from our kids, don't have to spend any extra time outside of the classroom for our classroom kids. I know how much our students mean to us, but we also have to take care of ourselves too. So I created the community and I have put together lesson plans. I have put together practice problems. I have put together tests. I have put together activities, everything you need to basically teach your pre-algebra classroom. So if you are tired of spending time away from your children, if you are tired of spending time on your weekends, your Sunday nights, trying to plan and trying to get things together, then I welcome you to join the prealgebrateachers.com community. I wanted to just give you a quick behind the scenes look of what it's like to be part of our community. So I'm going to pull up my computer and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like and everything that you get as a member of our community. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera. Here we go. So here is my computer, and I'm sorry there's like a slight glare. There we go. So this is our forums page, or this is our community. So when you log in, you will find all of the forums that you have access to. We provide a ton of support. We don't want teachers to ever feel like they're alone. And you can come in here and introduce yourself. You can get help, you can get support. If you're having trouble with a teacher, with a student, with a parent, we're here to help. We have daily warm-ups for every lesson. I have created a special forum of how I teach certain concepts. So I've created videos of how I teach so you can kind of get a glimpse into my classroom. And then this forum is where all the lesson plans live. So you can scroll down and you can see everything that we offer. I have a 6th and 7th grade Common Core Skills checklist and a Texas TEKS checklist. We have an assessment. I have multiplication stuff for students who might not have their basic multiplication skills. So I'm just going to pull up, for example, I'm going to go into multiplying and dividing fractions. So all I have to do is log into the forums every day in the morning and I just pull up my lesson plan. So I'm going to open it up and there it is. So I have all the objectives. I have the Common Core standards, every standards that it covers.
I have the bell work, and I have the procedures. So all I have to do is just turn this into my principal. So then when I'm ready to teach multiplying and dividing, solving equations by multiplying and dividing, I just pull up the lesson plan or pull up my PowerPoint with all my PowerPoint notes, and it's just gonna pop right up, and there it is. So I have all of my vocabulary, I have examples, I have more examples, solving, examples for my students to try on their own, and then for us to go over the answers. When I'm done with that, I can open up my extended practice page, which has 25 practice questions that I can assign as homework or just simple classwork, whatever I would like. And of course, there's an answer key. With multiplying and dividing equations, I also have another coloring page. So if you enjoyed the coloring page that I provided you earlier this week, there's another one for multiplying and dividing fractions, or multiplying and dividing equations, I'm sorry. So there's the questions. This one is a little bit holiday themed, which I love the holidays, so it's perfect. And then of course, there's an answer key. We also have different activities all throughout, like task cards. We have median mode candy activities. I just want to take a quick second and pull up a task card activity. I know I have one for simplifying algebraic expressions. So I'm going to pull up my simplifying algebraic expressions task cards. And what I love about task cards is they're so versatile. So here it is. I make a couple of copies of these if I want to, and cut them out and give them to my students. If I don't want to make copies for my students, I can use my task cards as a whole class activity where I can just put up one task card at a time on my overhead projector, and my students, and I tend to have my students use it as a game. Like maybe I split my class into 3 groups and we play a game that way. Or maybe I'll just make like 3 copies and kind of do group work, or I can use task cards in a station format, or I can print a copy for each one of my students and they can take it home for homework. It's kind of whatever works for you. And of course, there's an answer key. Shout out to Joanna. She had asked me earlier in one of the posts, and she had asked about, I think, ratios and proportions and percents and percents and tax and things like that. And we have an entire section dedicated to ratios and rates, proportions, fractions and decimals and percents, percent proportions, percent of change. And I am actually teaching tax and discount with my class right now. So I'm going to be adding those lessons into the prealgebrateachers.com community soon, because I want to make sure all the lessons that I create are tried and true. They are used in my own classroom. So I want to make sure that all of the activities, all of these coloring pages that I create. So this one is a coloring page for unit rate. And boom, these are all the questions. These are all the activity or the colorings. And then these are your answer keys. I always want to make sure that my lesson plans work for my students, because if they work for my students, then I know that they will work for yours as well. We have chapter tests for every chapter. We have classroom games. We have a share your stuff community forum. So, because I know that I am not the only teacher out there. So if you have good lesson plans and you want to share them, there's a place for that. So I just wanted to take a minute and share with you that we are offering a huge 50% discount to all of you who've been part of the 5-day experience. All you have to do is go to prealgebrateachers.com/join and enter the code 5days, and you can save 50% off of the membership price, off of our original membership price. It's a huge deal of a deal. There is
this coupon code 5 days is not offered anywhere else. If you are to go to the prealgebrateachers.com website on your own, you will see that you will have to pay full price. So if you want to take advantage of this 50% off coupon, and all you have to do is select whether you want to join our community at the monthly rate or the yearly rate. And then enter the code 5 days so you can take advantage of 50% off of the original price. So if you're still hanging with me, I wasn't going to throw in a freebie today. I wasn't going to throw in a special activity, but in class today, my class actually did adding and subtracting integers task cards. We've actually moved past the integers concept, but I wanted to just kind of throw in the task cards because I wanted them to just kind of have some basic review day, and we had a weird schedule today at school, so I didn't want to teach anything new. So I just gave them the task cards assignment. They loved it. It was so much fun, and they actually had some really great success with it. So I was just, right before I came on the Facebook Live today, I'm like, I'm going to throw it in today with our experience and let everyone who's part of this 5-day experience have one extra thing today. So if you want, let me show you what it is actually. It is adding and subtracting integers task cards. And again, let me turn my camera. So here it is. There are 15 task cards. So you can see that everything is broken out into, so here's question 1, here's question 2, here's question 3, and there's 15 questions, and there is an answer key at the end. So I encourage you to have your students use these task cards. You can have your students use them in a game format. You can have them do it in groups. You can have your students do it in partners. However you feel is going to help your students be the most successful. I actually today had my students do it independently because I just felt like that's kind of what they needed today because everything was just kind of so crazy with our schedule. But anyway, in order to access these free task cards, go to prealgebrateachers.com/5 days. And don't forget, in order to access your 50% off coupon, head on over to prealgebrateachers.com and hit the join button, and all you have to do is enter the coupon code 5 days in the discount code box. So take advantage. I want you to work smarter and not harder. That is my whole entire goal. So I know how many hours I have spent tirelessly weeknights, weekends, and spending it away from the people that I care about. And I don't want you to have to experience that at all. So in our community, everything is already done for you. You will save countless hours because I have done all the work for you. So again, take advantage of our coupon code. It is 5 days, and you can check that out at prealgebrateachers.com. And I will see you here tomorrow, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern for our last meeting together of this experience. Have a great night. Bye.